What is good, Battlefielders? This is Kuzu Ranger coming at you from Japan. Today's video I'll be talking about the Tunguska and how it can be used to demolish and demoralize the enemy attackers. Big thanks goes out to NeightDog for editing this gameplay. The first advice I can give is to memorize where to find the Tunguska. For rush mode on the PS3, you will only find it on Nosharh Canals and Wake Island. I actually late joined this game, as you can see, so this is footage from the third stage of Mcoms. If you snooze, you lose, so grab this vehicle before it's too late. Luckily, it does spawn at 4 stages, all of the stages of this map. To use it most effectively, you really need to get thermal optics, which is unlocked at 10,000 points. The difference is literally like night and day. Its single biggest advantage is the ability to spot infantry immediately. There is no second guessing needed. Even at long distance, you can clearly identify enemies, track them, and finish them off with ease. The combination of having incredibly fast firing dual 30mm cannons coupled with infrared night vision makes this a mean killing machine. I would argue that no other vehicle in the game benefits as much as the Tunguska from just one simple upgrade. Just trust me on this one, get thermal optics. The anti-air missile only requires 1200 points to unlock, so it can be had very easily. You will rarely get more than a few kills though versus choppers, since nearly every pilot already has IR flares. Still, it can be a good tool for intimidation, scaring them off course or even crashing when they hear the lock on. This does bring up another good point though. Aircraft can play a huge role on Canal and should always be your first priority. A good little bird pilot with missiles of his own and machine gun fire can take you out, so don't get too cocky and comfortable. Both the little bird and Huey provide mobile spawn points, so they pose a serious threat to the objective, even if they are not giving you damage. Next, take out the Amtrak, since like the Huey, it can hold numerous passengers en route to the Mcoms. It does take a bit more damage to disable it, but it is also extremely slow, so it's not like it's a hard target. The Vodnik poses no threat to you physically, but it's another mode of transportation that should be dealt with. They can be destroyed very simply. Besides the rare chopper pilot with advanced skills, your biggest threat will always be from engineers or support with C4. The Tunguska is rather nimble, but its turning is a lot more clunky than even heavier vehicles like the battle tanks, which is rather surprising. More importantly, it is not as strong as you think. I believe 2 solid missiles will disable it. This is exactly why I play the Tunguska, similar to how I play Marksman Recon with my SKS. You will always have a better chance of survival if you drop back slightly rather than charging right into the middle of action. You can still play aggressive, but be cautious. You need to constantly be aware of your surroundings and know when to fall back and when to push up. Many make the mistake, especially with other vehicles like Amtraks or tanks, to park directly in front of the enemy and just take fire. The Tunguska is just too valuable to be wasted like that with a gung-ho attitude. Spot and mark, take out anything in the sky, clean up all the infantry, but stay safe. Going back to positioning, this is another reason why thermal optics are the best choice. At range, I would still easily pick it over zoom optics, because the white outline is instantly recognizable. Meanwhile, even with zoom, a player hiding in the grass will be invisible to you. Thermal optics does the same job or better, but also has the benefit of being fantastic up close. Since the cannons fire so quickly and have such a large magazine, the Tunguska just chews through flesh with ease. Always keep a constant watch around your perimeter for infantry trying to sneak up behind you. Once you've spotted a player though, you've got to take him up quickly or get out of there. As always, there are basic tips that should be reviewed over and over. One of these is to spot. Yeah, I know you already know it, but for those of you who don't, better remember it. Although thermal optics basically solves this by letting you see anyone's outline, once they drop to the ground you may lose track of them from a great distance. By constantly spamming the select button on the PS3 to spot, you know exactly where they are when they pop up, so you can lay down a heavy barrage of bullets. The next tip is a somewhat advanced tip that doesn't make immediate sense, but it is quite important to know. We know the Tunguska has enormous range, accuracy, and stopping power. And even with its big clip, you still need to burst fire in between kills, especially when you're facing tough armor like the Amtrak. When you constantly hold down the trigger, you will be forced to reload, which will then give them the chance to retreat or repair. By burst firing with a pause of a second or two, you maintain the ability to shoot forever. Yes, I repeat, it's possible that you will never have to reload using this method. That is not to say you should never hold down the trigger, but you need to be aware that constant spamming leads to constant reloads, which leads to missing out on targets you could have killed. When you're facing up against choppers, lock like you would a handheld rocket and let them fly. As soon as they are released, immediately switch back to your guns to finish the job. The bullet velocity is extremely high, but you need to lead the bullet slightly to inflict maximum damage. Look at where the chopper is heading and anticipate his movement. Lay down constant fire, but try to burst once or twice so you don't have to reload. It can be tricky when taking fire, knowing when to move your vehicle to avoid him and when to commit and go all out, but practice makes perfect. And there you have it. I hope you've learned a few things about what the Tunguska is capable of, how it should be used, and increasing its overall efficiency. If you have any comments, questions, or critique, please let me know, and feel free to sub and like. I would like that a lot. Thank you. Peace.